Hello and welcome to the Union Pacific Railroad Geneva Subdivision. My name is Darrell Cruz, owner and builder of the layout, and today we have another operations video. This time it is a westbound train, but a very short distance. It is only going from a Norfolk Southern yard to Proviso. This is Norfolk Southern train NS-33A. And it is pulling out of East Staging Track 9. And we have a couple of Norfolk Southern SD70 ACEs. These are models by Fox Valley. They are outstanding models. I like them quite a bit. And as you can see, one of them, the one on the right, the trailing unit, is a heritage unit for Penn Central, which became part of the Norfolk Southern. So we are coming out of East Staging Yard and heading westward towards Proviso. Here we're pulling through River Forest and going to be making our way through the Forest Preserve and across the Des Plaines River Bridge. Can't really see there, but we have a green signal. I think it was flashing yellow actually, because the next control point will be going into Proviso Yard. This is River Forest again. This will be an underpass going from one side of the tracks underneath to the other side of the tracks. And we're now coming out of the Forest Preserve and going across the Des Plaines River Bridge and heading into Maywood. You notice I have the throttle set at 28, so this is a little bit slower than normal mainline trains, but we are in the Chicago suburbs and it is a pretty short journey. So we're not going to go all the way up to 40. Usually when we're going all the way across the main line, try to hit it closer to 40 miles per hour. As you can see, a lot of work to be done here in Maywood. I did get a kit to do the McDonald's there in Maywood. Maybe putting that together pretty soon. Need to put a crossing sign there. All right, coming around the bend from Maywood and heading into Proviso. There's a bunch of trees there. I just set them on there. I need to paint them and get them down more permanently. This building needs a little work yet still, but do what we can. All right, it looks like we have a yellow signal on the bottom there because we're going into Proviso Yard. So if you notice, I'm cranking it down here. We're at 22. Probably need to go down a little bit slower yet. And as you can see, we have a train that's waiting for us to go through. This is my CNW manifest train, the CNW units. That's a heritage unit at the head, UP 1995, and then it's accompanied with two patched units. Those two units, I got them a long time ago when Cotto first came out with the C44-9Ws. So those are coming up on about 20 years old here, probably about 17 years old, I think. All right, so the Norfolk Southern NS-33A is in the yard, as you can see. and it's pulling into arrival track 1. Arrival track 1 coming from the east into Proviso uses the yard throat there to come into the yard, which is definitely what we want, because both yard crews on both sides of the yard will be working this train, and we're going to be breaking it up and classifying it into the different classification tracks. So it's important that we take that yard throat lead into track 1, arrival track 1. Okay, you see we're down to 9 on the throttle now. Slowly come to a stop here. Alright, cranking it down, come to a slow stop. Alright, and we're stopped. Now with the main line clear, of course, the CNW units can go ahead and continue their run eastward towards Maywood, River Forest, and the Chicago yards. I have been working on the decoder settings for all my units, trying to use the back EMF to control the speeds, and also been adding a little bit lower frequency. I have them set so that they'll start creeping very slowly at 1 and then slowly gain speed to 40, where they'll be going about 40 scale miles per hour. Now when it's pulling a load here, it's got a full train here, so I don't know if you noticed, but it actually didn't start moving until we got to speed step 6. But then it did creep off pretty slowly there. Right, now we're at 32. We'll continue to increase it. All right, coming into Maywood now. There's going to be some buildings going in here, obviously, up against the backdrop. So you see a lot of ugly brown paint there, but that'll be mostly building flats. There's not a lot of room there, and I want to put the passenger side area. So it'll probably be passenger area, road, and then building flats, because there's not a whole lot of room. This is the only heritage unit I have. Been tempted to get some other ones, but I don't want to get too many, because then it'd be like, why are you seeing so many? It's not normally what you would see if you're rail fanning the Geneva sub. If you notice, this particular operations video only showcases a portion of the railroad from the East Staging Yard to Proviso. So all these operations, this is on the Chicago side of the railroad, the Chicago yards, between the Chicago yards and Proviso. So if you're hoping to see the rest of the layout, I'm afraid you won't see it on this particular operations video. Alright, we'll go ahead and uncouple the train here. Uncouple couple of the units from the train, and we'll go ahead and pull away from them, and then we'll park these in the little holding track. Usually don't see Norfolk Southern or any foreign units in the engine facilities there. These will go into a holding area, and then they'll be available for taking Norfolk Southern trains back east towards the Norfolk Southern yards in Chicago. And so that's the engine facilities in the background. In the foreground here, there's some car shops. There were a car shop. There is a pretty substantial car shop there in Proviso. Now, if you notice on my throttle, I'm trying to get the headlight on. It has to have the headlight on in both directions. I kind of was a little late in that, but Norfolk Southern engineers aren't quite as sharp as the UP engineers. Just saying. If you notice, the lower throttle number is 38. That actually, the 1073 is consisted with the 1030, so that 38 doesn't really mean anything. But I acquired it so that I could turn on the front light, which, as you can see, is on the throttle and also on the unit. So there's a holding track I was talking about. So you have the two mainline tracks, and then the holding track, and then arrival tracks 2 and 1. And the train that we just pulled in is in track 1. So these Norfolk Southern engines will just kind of take it easy there in the holding track until they're needed to take a train back east towards Chicago. Now we usually work a train from both sides. By working the train, basically what I mean is taking the cars and then, according to the switch list that we have, put them into the different classification tracks, so that they'll be ready to be put together on another train heading out of Proviso, or there's also a track or two for local industries, and so they'll be set there, and then later when there's time, the yard crews will distribute them to the industries in the area here around Proviso. So the one engine yard crew is already connected to the east side of the train, and now we'll have the second yard crew connect onto the west end of the train. The train will be uncoupled somewhere in the middle of the train, and then both yard crews will pull their cars out and then put them into the classification tracks according to the switch list. So you have to stay tuned to see that. That will be the next operations video coming up. So you have to stay tuned for that. That will be the yard crew breaking down this train into the classification track, and then building a train to go in the other direction, a Norfolk train to head back east towards Chicago. So you can look forward to that in the next operations video. I've been doing 2 videos a week. I'm going to be cutting that down to just 1 a week here for the next few weeks. I'm going to be actually doing some substitute teaching for a high school teacher that has a maternity leave coming up. So I'm going to be starting that this week, and going to be doing that through December. Just 4.5 weeks. I actually start on Wednesday, so Stay tuned for that. Thank you so much for watching this video. Hope you've enjoyed it. Take care.